Hi everyone, and welcome to our town hall event to discuss the Hugo, the Lodestar and the Astounding Awards and how they will be run at Glasgow in 2024. My name is Meg McDonald. I'm the division head for promotions, and I'm delighted to be hosting tonight's event. Each participant is going to unmute themselves, tell you who they are and their role in the convention. And I think we should probably start with our chair. So over to you, Esther.
Okay. Ooh. Hi, everybody. My name is Esther, and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm the chair of this year's Worldcon, Glasgow 2024.
Nicholas?
Hello, my name is Nicholas Weiss. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the administrator of this year's Hugo Awards and also the division head for WSFS, the World Science Fiction Society activities of the Glasgow Worldcon.
Catherine.
Hello, I'm Catherine Duval, she and her, and I am the Deputy Division Head for WSFS, as well as a member of the Hugo Subcommittee.
And Cassidy.
Hi, I'm Cassidy, pronouns they, them, and I'm the Deputy Hugo Administrator for Glasgow.
Wonderful. So as you can see, we have a very illustrious panel here with us tonight. So it's probably worth kicking off saying that this is an event that is underneath our code of conduct, like all of our online events. So please observe that when you're asking your questions. Questions should be put in the Q&A section. We're going to go through kind of guided interviews, and then we'll be taking questions as they come in when they fit into those sections or at the end. It's worth saying that we've been planning these events for about 2 years. We wanted to kind of demystify WSFS. What is the World Science Fiction Society, the organisation? What are the needs and what do we do? But we felt more than ever this year, it was super important to make sure that people understood everything that was going on and make sure that there was no uncertainties about who we were, what our values were, and how to approach them. So on that, I'm going to pass you over to this.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, obviously it's been a year for Worldcon, and the Hugos and the awards have been at the centre of that. And I know that probably most of the people who are in this webinar are sort of aware of what's been going on, but I'm just going to recap from the position of the chair as I am at the moment. So I know that many of you will have read details about this. You'll have seen things in all kinds of press reports. What we know is that an individual made decisions to remove finalists from last year's ballot, and those decisions were not in keeping with the Hugo rules, with the World Science Fiction Society, or the general ethos of the community, and they were absolutely against Glasgow 2024's remit for caring for inclusion and for imagination. And we know as much as you do, and I am incredibly upset and distressed by this. I actually, I do find it really quite hard to articulate just the level of that. I never ever want to see anybody subjected to the distress that was caused by the actions of last year, and we've worked as hard as we possibly can in order to facilitate that. The Hugos are often described as the Olympics. Again, for those of you who don't know, they don't just move from city to city, they move from group to group. So this year's committee is a completely different group, and unfortunately we can't take direct action to correct any of the wrongs that were committed last year. But what we can do is we can learn from these mistakes, and we can try and move forward, and we can try and make sure that these things are never ever repeated. And I'm really glad that we did have these town halls planned in advance, as we said, because we've made statements, we've spoken, but it's actually really good to be able to speak to people directly and to take questions as a result of that. So thank you for coming. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Back to you, Meg.
Thanks, Esther. I think, as you can see, the emotions still remain very high in this, but luckily we have a very level-headed head of WSFS. And Nicholas, I'd like you to talk us through the transparency measures that we've been putting in place and what have we done so far? What are we going to be doing as well when it comes to voting?
Sure, thanks, Meg. So as all of you, I think, will be aware that we announced the Hugo final ballot on the 29th of March, which is just 3 weeks ago now. When we made that announcement, we also announced the people who had either declined nomination or those who we had found were ineligible for nomination. We had discussed that with most of the relevant people in advance, certainly all of those who we had to disqualify. We had the discussion with them to explain what the reasoning was and to make sure that we had the full facts, of course, as well. On top of that, we will be publishing the complete voting statistics on the evening of the award ceremony itself, and we'll publish them on the internet. We don't feel that we have anything to hide, and we don't want to hide anything. And I can tell you that we did not disqualify a single vote in the nominations phase. Every vote that was cast was counted, although unfortunately not everybody got what they wanted, because that's the way with voting. So these I think are fundamentally just quite important, just to let people know that your vote mattered, that it was counted, and what we did with it. And if you voted for something that didn't appear on the ballot, it's either because it didn't get enough votes or there was another reason, which we have already disclosed.
And we did disclose those eligibility aspects kind of both in the video and on the website. There have been some questions kind of come up in relation to eligibility, so I'd like to raise those. They came in advance with you just now.
Sure.
So one of them was in relation to previous publications for Monaco Black Goose prior to 2022.
Yeah. So to expand on that, this is to do with the Astounding Award for Best New Writer, which actually isn't a WSFS award. It's sponsored by Dell Magazines, but we administer it on behalf of Dell Magazines. The award goes to be eligible in normal circumstances, and we'll get to the special circumstances in a moment. But in normal circumstances, to be eligible for the Astounding Award, you must be in the first 2 years of your professional career. So the definition of professional career means actually selling something that's sold and sold for real money. And in fact, 2 of the finalists that we determined were eligible had previous publications, but these were not professional publications. One of them had a book that was entirely self-published and which did not make very much money. It did not make any money. And the other one had a couple of stories published in what was essentially not a professional magazine. So we went into both of those in detail to make sure that we got it right. We didn't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to exclude people, but at the same time, we don't want to include people against the rules. So that was the case with those 2 finalists, Monaco Black Goose and Sun Yijin.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That's very helpful to know. The other question that came up about eligibility and this award was why, given the inclusion of Jiran Zhejiao's eligibility, was there not 7 finalists instead of 6?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of these things where we were bending the rules already by extending eligibility for Jiran Zhejiao, and we didn't feel we wanted to bend them further and to have a 7th person who would sort of be the spare wheel. We felt it's better to have 6 people who are firmly there. I would say that there was a Hugo cycle many years ago when there was questions about eligibility and they just included everybody on the ballot. that's not the way I want to go.
No, thank you. That's very, very helpful. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to move to Catherine because, as Esther pointed out, it's a whole new team who handle the awards every year, as it often is that handles the Worldcon. But there are lots of different levels of the team involved. Catherine, can you speak to us about who's involved, at what levels, and what groups come into play there, please?
Sure, that's a big question, really. That's quite a lot to it.
Break it down nice and slowly. You're telling an amateur here for me.
I'll do what I can. We are the Hugo subcommittee. Myself, Nicholas, Cassidy. We also have an admin assistant, Laura Martins, who helps us. And we are delegated by the convention committee to handle the Hugo Awards. And we are the group that makes the decisions about the Hugo Awards and around the nominations and the voting, and are privy to the information that not everybody else has access to. And but of course, we can't do everything. As you mentioned, there's a lot of other people. But specifically with us, Nicholas is the head of this group. But we're very fluid in what our responsibilities are within the group. We really work together as a team. We meet pretty much at least these days twice a month, if not more, and we talk over things. We have communications that go out, obviously through promotions and through the website, and we have teams that work with us on those, and we get together and we review all the materials that are going out around that. We have teams that support us in terms of the Hugo packet that's going to be coming out. We have, I know everyone's looking forward to that. We have to ask the publishers and the producers and production companies and everyone, all the finalists, and gather that material. And I know they're working very hard on that. During the nominations and during the voting, we have a lot of questions come in. So we have a Hugo Help Team, which you can always write. If you guys are voting and